When shadows fall and spirits howl, zombies stalk and madmen prowl, monsters lurk and victims shiver. Thrills and chills they will deliver. Arise from your graves and get in the mood. It's time to join the Spooky Dudes.
Hey, everybody. We're back. Episode 21. It's always going to be awkward, either through episode 200. Just wait and see. I'll do it. I'll make it awkward every damn week. I'm Corey. I'm back. Spooky, as my thing says. And I'm joined tonight with a special guest who I just started talking to recently. We have some mutual friends now because I'm just like getting inundated in the indie horror scene here, but he is the man behind Curse of the Weredeer, which is coming out later this year through Troma. Almost said Toma. That's how tired I am. But here's Ben Johnson. What's up, man?
Hey, how are you? 2021. Congratulations. Your show can drink now.
I mean, well, to be fair, so this is like season 2. Season 1 was 160 something episodes, so this has been going a while, but we kind of did a reboot.
Got it. Yeah, well, you know what? Whatever. 21. We're drinking. Right. No, it's thanks for having me on. Yeah. It's going to be a party.
Yeah, dude. So Ben reached out to me. I had some really good luck with people sharing a post where I said, "Hey, can I get some people that want to be on the show?" And Ben's one of those people. And I think his message sat in my Spooky Dudes inbox for a while because, like I told him before, I don't get any notifications. But when I saw it, I was like, "Yeah, sure, man, let's set it up." And I watched the trailer for Curse of the Weredeer. I did not get to see the rough cut, unfortunately, yet. I will. I'm excited about the trailer. Is just right up my alley, man. I love a good like trashy kind of slasher, animalistic. It looks good. It looks humorous and gory, and I love all those things. So I'm excited.
We certainly live in sort of that Troma space of horror comedy with a little bit of social commentary sort of wrapped inside that, for sure. It's it was a nugget that was only ever supposed to be a trailer. My buddy Derek, who plays our lead, Brandy, he and a friend of his came up with this idea, and it was like, well, what if it was like a werewolf, but like a deer? And from there, the whole thing just snowballed. You know what I mean? And we made the trailer for Troma Dance 2021, and then enough people said to us, "You can't show us this and not show us a feature." So we went back through 2021 and into last year. We started in April of 2022. I think it was like actually March 30th is or March 31st when we went into production, and we fully just started up here in Middle Tennessee. We got everybody together, made a little bit of money. Troma helped us out a little bit as well, and now we're butt deep in post.
I love it. Ironically, yeah. I was drinking Deer Park water, not a sponsor. Deer Park, though, I drink your water all the time. What's up? You're already getting some love in the chat here. Our buddy Dylan Young.
Yes, Dylan actually came in and helped out on a couple things. Dylan's helped out on a couple of our short films as well. Like, wonderful guy.
He is a sweetheart, and he came on the show, and we were talking, and he's infinitely younger than me, and so I felt really old having him on, but it was great, Dylan. Thank you for coming on the show. Dylan also next weekend has a trailer that will show at Bride of Frankencon. So as part of the film festival.
Very good. I'm sure it's 10 times better than anything that Shithouse will ever put out. On this Dixie.
Dixie's here too. She also has hers is not a trailer. Hers is a short film that Dylan is in. By God, there's so much, like it's almost like inbreeding
Bro,
in the scene here.
it's Secrets of the Witch, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I shot that. Also, it is inbred.
Look at this. Look,
it's like a dick sucking loop. You know what I mean? Like it is.
Oh man.
No. So I had reached out to Dixie, and we may as well. I mean, we'll get into it because it's all Tennessee, it's all local, it's all like Southern Kentucky, Indiana sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
When we got ready to do the original teaser trailer for Weredeer, I had reached out to Dixie, and I think I came across her on Facebook. I'm not even really sort of sure how those paths had crossed, but I'd seen a couple of things that she had done, and I was like, well, we need a fortune teller. It has to be, and it has to be her. It has to be this lady. And the one thing I can really say about Dixie is that she puts out some of the best, like, straight up character work I've ever seen in my life. Like, I don't know if you've sort of deep dived on what she's been up to, but in every role that she's in, she crafts her character. She pumps out these crazy looks. Each one is so wildly different, and she cares so much about her character. It's ridiculous. It's amazing.
Wow, Dixie, there's 3 hearts.
3 hearts right out the gate. There you go.
Triple hearts. Okay, here we go. More comments here. Is this the infamous Bad Ben? Says Brandon Posey. I mean, it's not Nigel. I did talk to Nigel earlier. Bad Ben 12 will premiere at Bride of Frankencon. Bad Ben Alien Agenda. No joke.
Yeah,
it's for real.
That has nothing to do with me, but whatever. That's wonderful.
This is good Ben. He's good Ben.
Yeah. Well, you wait till you watch the movie. You might change your mind.
Bride of Frankencon. I will never. So the reason the word Frankencon exists is because Joe Bob and Darcy were at the original Frankencon, and when I wrote up the contracts, it was the first time I'd ever written up contracts to be signed by celebrities to appear at a con, and I accidentally typed Frankencon, and they just signed it. And so I have these, I have their signature on contracts that say they're from Frankencon. So we're going to go, start fracking the earth or whatever, or mining it for precious minerals soon.
I mean, dude, listen, if there's a convention we need to get to, it's Frankencon.
That's right. Frack it up. Dylan, anytime, dude, had a blast.
Yeah, he's a good time, man. He came down. He's actually helped out on a number of our shorts, really and truly, at least like 2 or 3, and the feature as well. So, I participate in the 48s around the Nashville area, the 48-hour film fest, and Dylan was on a couple that we did. He actually shot one for us and did a tremendous job. So, yeah.
Dylan is good people. He's got it. If I can brag on Dylan for a moment too, like I've watched several things that he's worked on, and the guy has an eye that not everybody has. Like not everybody has this sort of like, I mean, I don't want to make any comparisons to anybody, but like, when you think of like filmmakers throughout history that have had an eye for just, making things look very appealing cinematographically, just beautiful, right? I think he's got that, and that's, we don't all have that, so yeah.
No, very, very much not. I leaned on a cinematographer to help sort of craft that. One of the few things I can do is find like a little bit of talent, a little bit of nugget. I have a knack of putting the right people in the right spots, so to speak, and then also making some pretty decent connections. Our cinematographer for Curse of the Weredeer, as a kid named Sam Zhang, who is now matriculating at AFI. So he has quickly left our ranks at Troma, and I don't think he could have got out of there quick enough.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Well, hey, I mean, look, it takes a village to make a movie, even one that's like 15 minutes long. I mean, it takes a lot of people to make it work. It's like a convention. You can't. Frank and Con ain't me and Richard. It's everybody. It's a whole bunch of people. It's the whole Franken family, right? Like it takes everybody.
The whole Franken family.
Franken family, yeah.
I mean, you got Al in there, Barry, the whole Franken family, right? Like, sorry,
all of them.
I mean, it's terrible.
All right, more making fun of me real quick. Corey likes deep diving. Yes, love it. I'm scared of depths and heights, though. And let's see. Dylan A. Young agreed with Ben. The fortune teller bits is one of my faves. Yeah. Even in the trailer, Dixie's great in the trailer.
So, like, that's the thing. We do make sure we're very progressive in South Tromaville. We make sure we don't call the fortune teller a gypsy, not even one time. We don't call her a gypsy. We're very proud of ourselves for that.
But you just did.
No. It's okay to say it if you're telling people what you didn't do. That's the lesson I've learned. Yeah.
That's the line in the sand.
That's when it's okay to be slightly offensive. It's when you're saying we weren't offending anybody.
Now I understand. Now I can be more sensitive just by saying how sensitive I was and how I wasn't insensitive a moment ago.
When I didn't say
it. I'm growing as a human being, everyone.
That's the lesson I learned from Lloyd. He also, you can have your bad guys say anything because they're bad guys. So it's okay if they drop any and all inappropriate nonsense because they're evil. They're supposed to.
Sure.
So we might have a little bit of that in the future. So
you want the good guys to be likable and the bad guys to be hateable.
I mean, yeah, but I think we fucked up though because our bad guys are actually kind of likable too, which is the sad thing.
You got a Christoph Waltz as your bad guy in there or something?
Yeah, actually. So are you familiar with an actor, Babette Bombshell? Do you know Babs at all?
I don't think so.
Okay, so how and again, pardon me for asking, how steep sort of in like Troma are you? Have you seen the new Return to stuff?
The Nukem High stuff, yeah.
The Nukem High reboots? Okay.
Yeah.
So
with, Catherine Corcoran. Yeah.
So Babette Bombshell played the principal in Return to. So Babs is a character actor, drag queen, all around Troma superstar, and came up and played our sheriff and did an unreal job. One of our other villains is also a Troma superstar, Zach Amico. So when I say they're likable, I mean these are dudes that know how to craft character, and they're so bad they're good, It's those kind of guys. So yeah, very happy with them. But Zach says some wild shit. Yeah, Babs did kill it, Dixie. You're right.
Dixie is here to provide all the context.
Just to validate what I say, because sometimes what do you call it? I might exaggerate a little bit.
Maybe a little. Hey, it's okay. Look. Well, okay. So we talked a little bit before we started rolling here. So premiering at Troma Dance.
Yes, and we're waiting on dates, official dates. from the Troma office as to when that's going to be, but it will be later this year, before the end of or right at the end of summer. So we're going to keep everybody sort of updated there. Troma does a couple of different events sort of throughout the summer. In the last few years, they had been combining the old school Troma Dance Film Festival with a thing called Tromathon at the Mahoning Drive-In in Lehighton, Pennsylvania, right? So they want to bring it back to the city, is the word on the street. So they're working on that process, and as soon as they get that sort of dialed in, that's going to be the official premiere. However, I live in Middle Tennessee, and we have access to a beautiful old theater that's sort of left over from the silent era, the Palace in Gallatin, and I'm gonna be working extra hard to try and get us to play the Palace even before that, because might be a challenge. Might be a challenge. We rip off 6 dicks in one sequence, and the people say horrible, terrible things. Yes, an entire 6, bro. I'm very proud of it. And the people say terrible things throughout the movie. There's a lot of naked people. There's some butts and wieners and all sorts of fun stuff. But it might be a challenge to get into that little theater, so we'll see what happens.
It doubles as an anatomy lesson, not only a horror comedy.
Well, man, do you know how close to right you really are?
I was going to say, I saw something where there were 5, I think, recently. So 6 is the new record.
I mean, listen, we're pushing it. If I knew somebody was getting that close to 5, is it in one sequence or just one movie? Like, because we pulled.
It's in a short film.
Oh,
I think it was 5.
No, that's Secrets of the Wind. Dixies. Okay,
we can't spoil it here. We can't.
It takes me a minute.
Oh, 4. Okay. So you look. Okay.
It's 4.
Yeah. Sorry, Dixie, I can't count.
But we end up like the whole sort of. The whole backbone to the movie really and truly is more of the notion of, it's like I like to tell people it's about the need for transparency in our relationships, because our lead goes out on his bachelor party, hunting trip, deer killing, beer drinking, sex and weekend, and they drink their beers, kill their deers, they get lap dances from sexy strippers, and then they all go into their tents and bugger each other. But he gets bit prior to all that, and he's hiding it from everybody that he knows. He's hiding it from his friends. He's hiding it from his old lady. His old lady thinks that, maybe he likes spending time with fellers more than he likes spending time with her. So she's questioning everything, but she's very progressive and wants him to live a very true life. She wants him to be who he is because she loves him that much. And, he's got to come to terms with that and really sort of open up. Somebody told me we made a Troma chick flick, and I think we may have.
It's more complex than the title would suggest, I would say.
Oh, very, very much so. We also touch on a little bit of race relations with the police. I will say this: the only 2 people to get arrested are arrested for crimes they didn't commit, and they just happen to be people of color. So we're making little statements there. However, and not to give too much away, but both of those folks are completely exonerated by the end of the film and elevated into positions of power. So
spoilers, everyone. Spoilers.
We're thinking, right? But you don't know what it is.
I don't. All I know is 6 wieners. The new on-screen record, as far as I know, 6 decapitated wieners. That's not a thing. It's not decapitated. It's disembodied wieners.
I mean, decapitated is right. I mean, the heads are gone. So,
Boing.
do you have an effects board? This would be the point where you would want to push it.
I had one, and it ended up being such a horrendous nightmare with balancing the sound out, so I just stopped.
Oh, that's actually, that kind of breaks my heart just a little bit.
I may bring it back someday, but it would like drown people out and blow their sound out, because I never could get it balanced. But well, Ben, I'm looking forward to Curse of the Weredeer for certain. I'll say a casual Troma fan, because I'm not in love with all of Troma stuff, but Toxic Avenger, of course, is great. I did enjoy the Nukem High movies and things like that, but movies like Curse of the Weredeer appeal to me too. So I think maybe the more modern Troma stuff maybe even would appeal to me more. Maybe the up and comers from my neck of the woods.
So that's an interesting thing. And like, Troma is one of those places where, it's not that they'll necessarily, release anything or distribute anything. But with, let's just say, with a lot of the pickup movies, a lot of the stuff they distribute, it does run like sort of a not even just quality, but like a taste level sort of situation. There's some things in the catalog that even I'm like a little like whatever on. But I will say this: the beautiful thing about Troma, and the beautiful thing about even those films that you might not always be into, the idea that anything gets made, the fact that anything at all gets made, is a testament to, I guess, artistry in general. Especially when you're making a no budget movie, odds are stacked against you. Like, from the very beginning, the odds are stacked against you. We had the good fortune of, the crew, we're very tight. We all met on a Troma movie, so that's why we kind of hopped into that. We all met on Lloyd's last movie, #Shakespeare Shitstorm.
Speaking of,
yeah,
Dixie coming here. I think you would like Shakespeare's Shitstorm. I want to watch it. I just haven't had a chance to.
So hashtag, and you have to say the whole title. Like, that's the thing. That's what Lloyd's very adamant about. That you have to say the whole thing. It's hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm. #Shakespeare Shitstorm. They go back to Shakespeare, obviously, and it's a very accurate retelling of Shakespeare's The Tempest. And all of us that worked on this in like sort of the core crew, me, Derek, our writer Jimmy, what is it? Our DP, our editor, our fucking key grip, like everybody worked on Shitstorm. And then we came back and we just enjoyed making things together. Our sound guy was an associate producer on #Shakespeare Shitstorm. But we all really sort of enjoyed each other's company, and we sort of see things on the same level. And if you're lucky enough to find a group of people that have like a little bit of skill, and that you're able to share sort of that vision with, then you latch onto those folks and you just keep making stuff.
I like it.
Yeah. We've done a number of shorts. Most of them are up on Troma now, right now. The ones that can be, the other ones are some 48s that I've done. Our editor shot some stuff in Westmoreland. When he came down, he told me at one point, he said, "I'll come down and I'll do your 48, but we have to be able to shoot my short after we shoot that or before we shoot that, just to make it worth my time so I can get away. And I said, we'll do it, man. We'll make sure we do it. And so we did two shorts in a week. But anyway, he makes wonderful films. One of them it's called Ready, and it's the most wholesome thing we've ever done. It's literally a story about a kid trying to swing all the way over the top bar of the swing set. Very simple story. Very, very simple. It gets very, very goofy very, very quickly. It's wonderful. John Bergio.
Bergio.
Yeah, look for him. He's coming up.
Slasher Sports Cinema says, now here's some quality content, Daddy. Cheers, boys.
Do you know Billy? Do you know him?
I don't think so. I think he's joined in on some shows before, commented before, but
you got to fuck with Billy. He's a good dude. Again, this is where everything gets so incestuous. People like to pick on the South about that, brother, cousin, sister love, and all of that fun stuff. But literally, Billy is also from my hometown, and he has been on a nonstop promotion train for Curse of the Weredeer. I love him dearly, and he's right. This is nothing but content, baby. Nothing but content. Wait till those wieners come out.
Okay, first time. Okay, I somehow the name of the YouTube name came across my view at some point for some reason. But yeah, hi, Billy. Nice to meet you.
Well, I mean that's the other thing. Like, this is the beauty of what you guys do, right? Like, so Billy hosts a horror podcast. You're hosting a horror podcast. He's in Middle Tennessee. You're in East. What's your address again? I can tell people exactly where you live, and I'll tell you where he lives.
I'm in North Georgia.
North Georgia. Okay.
I pay state income tax. Okay. Oh.
So, but like, so goes the nature of like community, right? And if you don't build it and grow it and meet and whatever, what's the phrase? You sort of fall short of the glory, as they like to say down here, right? Like,
right.
And there's enough room, the market is saturated enough that there's nothing but space for everybody to do their thing. And if we can all come together, you can have a successful Bride of Frankencon. You can have a successful show. Everybody just, helps each other out.
I was having this conversation with Dixie the other day. It's not like we're sitting around getting rich from running a horror convention the second year, right? Like, the whole point of it is to foster the community,
right?
To get together and have fun. It is not a money hog, as some people probably think, but it is a damn fun time. So
and it starts there, and that's the biggest part. If you can meet people, if you can build and grow community, you can have a good time. Nobody gets murdered. Like, it's okay. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I don't know. I get everybody that came out for Weredeer. Also, weirdly, half the crew was from New York. 3 kids came out from Missouri. We had a couple of kids come up from like Florida. One dude from Ohio. We had a guy come out from England, believe it or not. Also a Troma director, Liam Regan. He just made Eating Miss Campbell. Very, very good movie about nostalgia, school shootings, and cannibalism. It's a party.
Jesus, what a mix.
Bro, again, like, these are the titles you got to start jumping into, man. Like, this shit is it's starting to get weird over in Tromaville. Let's put it that way.
Come on now.
No, for 50 years it's been weird. The Troma's in their their Grand Jubilee, right? Grand Jubilee this year, 50 years of Tromaville. So it's pretty exceptional.
Ben, let me ask you something.
Quest away.
Are you ready for some questions? That's the first question.
Oh yeah. No, please, by all means. I'll sit and talk your ear off, and Dixie will tell you too. I'll squirrel around constantly. So quest away.
She did warn me. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
First question: do you like T-shirts?
I love T-shirts. Yes.
Do you like black T-shirts? Looks like you're wearing a black T-shirt.
Necrogoblicon right now. Of course, I love black T-shirts.
And you like horror movies?
I do enjoy horror movies as well. Yeah.
So what I want everybody watching to do is go to fright-rags.com. That's my sponsor. And use code SpookyDudes10 for 10% off your order because they sell lots of black T-shirts with horror movie stuff all over.
Was that Fright? Was it Fright dot or Fright dash rags?
Fright-rags.com.
Fright-rags.com. You say they have black T-shirts?
They have all sorts of T-shirts, all sorts of colors of T-shirts.
Do they? And specifically, like they cater to sort of horror T-shirts too?
Oh yeah,
that's it. Oh, beautiful.
Mostly. I mean, they've had some stuff that could be horror adjacent. You know, like The Burbs, Fangoria. I mean, Fangoria is horror, but it's not a horror movie.
Right.
New stuff they have. Fangoria Pride Month shirts. That's very progressive. We've talked about progressive stuff tonight. Souvenir cups. That's something they're getting into. If you want a Joe Bob Briggs souvenir cup, like you would have gotten at like Burger King when you were 13 or whatever, you can do that.
Now, are those the plastic cups? The ones that you can continually reuse that can fall on the ground and not break?
Yes. Man. I hope they're BPA free though, because this is 2023 we're living in. It is BPA free. 32 ounces. Hand washing is preferred. Oops. But hey, guys, cups, socks. They have a new Hammer Horror collection with Christopher Lee, Frankenstein Created Women. I mean, all kinds of cool stuff. Go to fright-rags.com. SpookyDudes10 is your code. Even if it's on clearance, 10% off, but you're going to use it once. So fill your basket.
Wow. Fright-rags.com.
Fright-rags.com.
Holy cow. I'm there.
Okay. Thank you, Ben. And that wasn't even a real question. That was just my awkward segue to talking about my sponsor. Please enjoy Fright Rags. All right. First question, Ben.
Yes.
Everyone likes a good origin story. So what got you into horror?
I mean, dude, it's the same thing that gets everybody into it. You know what I mean? Or at least people my age.
I know what people on this show what gets everybody, almost everybody that comes on the show says the same thing.
Yeah. Is it the box art at the local video store and then a best friend who's already steeped in horror?
Specific movie.
Or
a specific franchise, I should say.
Man, so okay, I started weird. For me, it was actually Child's Play. It was one of the first horror movies I ever saw. And then from there, as a jumping off point, I went weird quick because I had a lot of catching up to do. Box art specifically for Bloodsucking Freaks, I saw way too young. I think it was probably like 11 when I saw Bloodsucking Freaks.
Wow.
Yeah, and shouldn't have. We also had a bunch of like irresponsible owners, video store owners in my hometown. Very irresponsible adults.
That's a trip, dude.
Yeah, I was way too young for that. And then fucking what was it? I saw Bloodsucking Freaks, Toxie 1 at about the same time, maybe a little younger for Toxie 1. And then it was around the time that I saw Surf Nazis Must Die that I saw the Oval logo. And that's when I really understood what Troma was for me. And I've always been more of a Troma guy than a horror guy. That's the other thing. Like I see that logo and that jumps me in more. But where I fell in love with horror and genre, it was even more in parody, and that was like Sleepaway Camp 2.
Okay.
Hands down, one of the best horror movies ever made, as far as I'm concerned.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. It has everything you could possibly want it to have in it.
So Child's Play is the first one you remember watching?
Yeah, first one outside of like Universal stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a good one for a kid.
Yeah, my what was it? My dad was like he loved the old Universal movies, so I saw those younger. But
same.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a tricky one. What's a film you did not like the first time you watched it, but upon further viewings you enjoyed it?
Oh, yeah, that is a tricky pickle, man. That's a really tricky pickle. What is a movie that I did like?
You just walked out hating it, and then you watched it again after you cooled off, and you're like, "Oh man, that's pretty good."
You know, I would say like Midsummer was sort of that was one that at first I was a little like, I don't know, kind of boring. I fell asleep during it. My wife woke me up when the grandma is like pushing on the dude's ass because she knew I would really enjoy that. She was like, he'll love this part. So she wakes me up, and we'd gone to the theater, and she wakes me up in the theater, and I chuckled. I saw the end of it and was like, this makes no sense. And then and then maybe about like 3 or 4 months ago, I decided I was going to do myself a favor and give it another watch. And thoroughly enjoyed it. Thought it was a great movie. So, I don't know.
I think Ari Aster is sort of divisive. Film people.
I can very much see it. I can, and it's sort of the slow burn, and then you have to really sort of think. You have to think about them. That's the part that people don't like. I think is that they have to think.
I'm tired of thinking. Just show me Jason with the machete.
So, what is it? What's the Joe Bob thing? Boobs, blood, and beast, right? Like that's all we need.
Blood, breast, and beast. Yeah, the 3 B's. All right, this one's easy or not. I'm surprised at which questions are tricky for people to answer on here and which are easy. But this one I think is easy. Favorite subgenre of horror?
Ooh, gore porn. Yeah, gore porn. I'm very much into like August Underground. Like I like Mortem is one of the hardest watches, I think. But it's also a thing that I love to show people, and then I'll sit and giggle through it, and then they're like, what is fucking wrong with you? So any of that kind of stuff, the more intense, like the better.
Guinea pigs, like stuff like that,
so the original Guinea Pig films, yes. American Guinea Pig, the first one, what is it? The Bouquet of Blood and Guts.
Yeah, it was the remake one of Flower of Blood Lotus, whatever the thing was that Charlie Sheen watched and called the FBI. It's like, someone dropped a snuff tape off of my house.
So I didn't like the remake in the American Guinea Pig series because it felt too fake. You know what I mean? Like, and granted, I mean, it's all effect stuff, but like, you're looking at those bodies on that table, and I know in like 30-40 years we have advanced well beyond, and it should be a little bit more graphic. But that's why I lean into something like August Underground and Mortem, because what Fred Vogel did was absolutely genius. So he did very good FX, but then to hide the seams even further, because he was shooting on digital, he was able to sort of degrade the footage in the edit. So like, you can't tell. It looks like an old school video camcorder, and it is so graphic, so real. Like that to me is 10 times the American Guinea Pig movies. Yeah, 10 times.
Well, and for realism's sake, like if you want it to feel as like real as humanly possible, like no one is out here like serial killing people with like a Sony Red, camcorder and a dude with a boom mic standing behind them, right? I mean, that's unrealistic. They're gonna have like a high 8 or something, and
yeah. But Fred Vogel, genius. Yeah, wonderful movies. Wonderful movies.
Tough to, you're for sure though. Tough to watch. Mortem is especially tough to watch.
Yeah, Penance is it's not the wrap up I really wanted for Krusty and Lead there. It's not really the wrap up I wanted for him, but it is what it is, and it's a good enough conclusion to that. But like Mortem is definitely the height of the series. Like that movie is fucked.
All right. Other side of the coin. Least favorite subgenre.
Oh, wow. Least favorite subgenre of horror. Yeah, I don't know, man. We're gonna sit on that for a few. It's like I don't know, man. I don't like I enjoy a good psychological horror, but at the same time, I think that's probably my least favorite because then again, too, when done correctly with some big scares, big jumps, big whatever, it can be great. But if it's a slow burn with nothing to it, I don't want it. I really don't want it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe psychological more than anything. More than anything, you know, give me big scares, lots of gore all day, and save your headache shit for somebody else.
Our buddy Kyle Putra is here.
Kyle, hello.
Hell yeah, brother. Kyle was on a couple weeks ago. 3
Very
weeks
nice.
ago. I can't keep up with time anymore. Do you guys know each other?
I don't know Kyle. I do not know.
He's an indie film guy too.
Very nice. Very.
You probably have some like 1 degree of separation from him. It's probably way closer than you can imagine.
That's the terrifying thing for me anymore on socials is it's like when it starts to recommend, who to talk to, who the friends are, who all of this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like it really is a thing where I'm like, I don't know, man. I know all of these people somehow.
All right, back to
yes,
nostalgia.
Oh,
he is the man. This guy, not Billy knows. See,
nice. There you go.
There you go.
Billy gets it. My dogs get it too.
Hi, doggies.
Sorry about that.
It's all good, dude. What is a VHS cover you remember from the video store? So if I say VHS cover, the first thing that pops in your head.
Yeah, the first one is Surf Nazis Must Die. That's one that stood out to me because the old box art is insane for that. Another one would have to be Bloodsucking Freaks. Stands out to me because and it's all for that like weird crooked face and then the table full of ladies in their bikinis and the one guy with the goblet in his hand. All of that stuff is key. I mean, 2 seconds. Children, be good, be kind. So I got a puppy not too long ago. I'll tell you this. She is now bigger than her brother, and he cannot handle it. He's 3 years old. He can't handle it. He hates it. And she's just being a lovely little girl. And all he wants to do is tackle her. And then like he puts his face up against hers and all night fucking long.
There's a pecking order for the doggies.
And they're just dumb.
Billy's back. The grim findings of Claudius was made with a lot of heart, and Kyle should be proud. He absolutely should. That is what Kyle and I talked about recently. Fun movie with Brian Papandrea. Yeah. I want to call him Papandrea though. I want him to make a movie where there's 2 Brians, and it's Papandrea as himself, and then Papandrea as his evil twin, and they fight each other for some reason. I don't know what the motivating factor is, but let's do it. Okay. Favorite type of physical media? I feel like you're a physical media guy.
Yeah, man, and like straight up, it's like everybody goes Blu-ray, and oh, I want the 4K rip of this and that, and it just give me a good DVD with a decent BTS on it, and I'm a happy baby. That's all I really need in life, you know.
That
Yeah.
was the turning point, right? I mean, we went from like just the movie, or if you bought a full moon movie, you'd get the video zone.
Yep.
Yeah.
You would get Full Moon Video Zone on it. Yeah.
But other tapes, you'd buy the movie, you get the movie. So
Yeah.
it's like when DVD came out and they're like, oh, we got all this other crap on there. It's awesome. All us movie nerds were like, oh yes. That's what we wanted.
and it really is. It is sort of what you want. The makings of the long form trailers, all of that BTS stuff to me is what beefs the whole thing up. Hang on, they really are. This is too much, guys. Oof. I apologize.
You're good, man.
Let me tell you something. This has been my entire existence. The other night, we're recording a show. I'm on a cartoon podcast called Totally Tunular. The dogs start eating each other's faces in the middle of that. And the three people I was talking with, I saw them go sheet white in the middle of it. Sheet fucking white in the middle of it. But back to even back to like physical media, it comes down to a situation like, how do you do a VHS? How do you do a VHS anymore? How do you care about a thing that most people do not have, or that you have to seek out, or that you have to like plug in a whole other thing anymore, you know?
It's made some weird resurgence, and especially like at our cons, dude, at our events, there's a ton of VHS people that come through, and so
it blows my mind. It really does blow my mind, because it's not even so much that it's like a dead medium, but it's just one of those things that I never would have thought outside of like personal and or like private collections.
I mean, it's magnetic. I mean? It deteriorates, much quicker than the
than anything else
after it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess for you then, like with the 4K releases and all of this additional sort of stuff that's coming out there, what do you watch on?
I still buy DVDs and Blu-rays, 4K. I don't even have a 4K player. I have a 4K TV, but I'll buy, like I bought the City of the Living Dead 4K, and I still haven't watched it because I don't have a 4K player, so I'm not even going to do it yet. But I'll still buy DVDs, like from some of my indie filmmaker friends. I'll buy their movies on DVD or whatever they put them on. But mostly Blu-ray, I guess. I guess most of my collection is Blu-ray.
Nice. Very nice.
So
yeah.
I still do a lot of it.
And that, I mean, that makes sense though too, because if you look at like gaming consoles or whatever, like a bunch of that comes with built-in sort of Blu-ray, and the games look so good anymore anyway, as a result, as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Are you ready for a controversial question?
Please. Yeah.
Okay. Recently, AI generated art has been it's been a hot topic on social media.
Yeah.
I've got some friends who are sort of on both sides of the argument. But how do you feel about it? What's your feeling on it?
Yeah. So the way I'll put it to you is like this, very specifically for me, as far as AI art goes. It's a fun toy to play with. It's genuinely fun. You can pump in a thing and then a computer makes it for you. At the end of the day, AI art will not generate anything without input from a person. So there's number one. Number two, if you look at what a human being is able to create, right? Like we have an artist named Barry McLean Jr. who did our Weredeer poster for us. He's a comic book artist. He's got a book out called Billy the Kit. Every Blue Juice Comics, everybody should look it up. But what he was able to pull out of the sky based on a couple of images that we shared, from his hand to the medium he was working in, starts off as pencil, and then he's able to like scan that and goes into his program, and then he works digitally from there. Whatever magic he sprinkled on top of it, again, it's human based, right? You give an idea, you give life to that idea. Whether or not you're going into a computer program and saying, make this for me. It's like I went to Barry and was like, with a little bit of funding, could you make this for me? Very politely. You don't have to be as polite to a computer.
Right.
You don't have to care about their feelings, but you also don't get a level of back and forth that you don't get to foster a relationship. So I always err on the side of human over machine, but human can feed machine. So is it inherently bad? No, it's a toy, and it should be treated as a toy. It's like a magic 8-ball, but with like there's an AI porn generator that is, I mean, that's a party on a Sunday night. Oh, buddy, there's nothing better than to sit down and just see where your brain can go. It's amazing.
Oh my God.
Listen, there was one. So Shithouse guys, we found the generator, and then all of a sudden our group chat just became the most messed up things you've ever seen in your life. It's like people with like butts turned around with like boobs on their butts, and then like weird penis arms like just going everywhere. It's magical, absolutely magical. So it has its place. AI has its place.
So like Society, or like Junji Ito making XXX content.
My man, yes, very much so. That, like, I would put it so much in the vein of Society. There's another movie with a really, well, maybe it's more so from the re-releases, but as far as like box art goes, but Society's very memorable too. That whole shunting bit is something special.
It's a big payoff for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Now this, we got to do another controversial question. Okay. Thoughts on cancel culture in the ways of like canceling a movie because of the behavior of someone who worked on it. So like if people started canceling Harvey Weinstein projects, or like the dude from Jeepers Creepers, Victor Salva.
Or the Flash that just came out, because his nuts is very polarizing.
Ezra Miller,
yeah, he's no fun.
Apparently not,
dude. So there's the other question, right? Like, it's the same thing. We've had this discussion on the podcast that we do with regard to like cartoon artists. So like John Kay with Ren and Stimpy, right? Mm-hmm. How do you separate art from artist? It boils down to sort of a personal thing, really and truly. I never felt strongly about Jeepers Creepers. I don't really care one way or the other. And like, as far as like Weinstein stuff goes, I don't think you cancel an entire film based on one person. I think, for me personally, having made a movie and having worked on a few, it's bigger than one person. It's absolutely bigger than one person. But at the same time, you have to really sort of consider its place in kind of the pantheon. You know what I mean? We had in hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm, and he's been in a number of Troma things, but Ron Jeremy shows up for a cameo, right?
Right.
This is 2018. By the time, 2020, 2021 rolls along, that Ron Jeremy cameo looks kind of rough.
Right.
Looks a little rough. He was the mayor in Citizen Toxie. That looks rough. But in context, what we didn't know at the time was what was going on. Should our movie not be seen by anybody? Absolutely not. Fuck that. Does it need that cameo? Not necessarily. Does it spark conversation? 100%. And I do think it's the conversation that becomes more important overall.
Yeah, I like that take.
Yeah. Because without that, it's, I guess, without like a level of conversation about it, you know. Same guy did Powder, was also like no good. Right.
That's the Jeepers Creepers guy. Yeah.
Same dude.
Yeah.
Powder is a beautiful movie.
It's also a Disney movie.
Yep.
And it's also after he was convicted of what he did.
Yes.
So it's like,
and if you look at that story, though, I mean, if you separate art from artist, that's a tremendous story. Like, it really is. Like, Powder's one of those things that sticks with me. And it's not in defense of the person, but I would still show that movie to people. To this day, I would show that movie to people.
Yeah.
Over Jeepers Creepers.
It's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Last controversial question, then I got some snowballs for you.
Oh, no.
What are your thoughts on bootlegging out of print titles?
Oh, okay. So that's another sort of tricky, very tricky pickle. I guess for me, the best thing, like, if the I don't know, man. Everything exists on the internet anyway. You could pirate it, you could stream it, you could whatever. I don't think you should necessarily be charging money for it, like at a con or at somewhere else or on the streets or anything like that. Sure. But if you're going to pirate it, you're going to pirate it. If you're going to find it on the Internet Archive, there's so much stuff that exists there. The caveat to me would be if it's like a sort of a local film made by, let's say, like an independent artist who lost all of their stuff, no longer has it, but you might be the only human being in the world to own the one VHS copy of it, bootleg that shit, get it out to people. And then ultimately, maybe we can find the person who made it, created it, and then feed back into the artist at some point. There's a kid that I work with who he is amazing at that. Like, he has a collection of stuff that nobody else has. It's absolutely insane. And it's in various sorts of places, but he always tries to find the artist, or it's a thing that he had worked on too. So I don't know. I'm 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I do not think it should be anything that you're trying to get paid for, though. I think that's wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. All right. Favorite costume, mask, or prop from a horror film?
Favorite costume, mask, or a prop from a horror film?
Yeah.
Man, you know what? Like, I'm gonna. It's Toxie's Tutu. It's Toxie's Tutu all day long. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a first. 3 films that every horror fan should see.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with one we talked about a little bit, and that's gonna be Mortem, for sure. And just because it's very genre, very, very specific for what it is, what it does, and the way it showcases effects. I'm also gonna say that I think every horror fan should actually see Video Violence. I think Video Violence is a great shot on video horror movie. It showcases sort of what you can do with little or nothing, as far as like budget goes, but it's sort of high concept for what it is. You've seen Video, I'm sure, right? No?
Nope. It's on my
Oh,
list.
my man.
It's
Dude,
on my
all right.
list.
So Video Violence is great. It takes place in the 80s, and it's a horror movie that is based in a small town, and the local video store, everybody in the town is filming like murders and these horrible situations. They take it to the local video store, and they're all renting each other's kills and each other's fucking stuff, right? There was a sequel that was made called Video Violence Part 2, very original title. But in Video Violence 2, they extend it to a cable access program. And now they're like showcasing the shit on cable access. Absolutely bananas series. So those two could be a package deal. And then I also think that every sort of horror fan, let's say, I mean, if you're a fan of the genre in general, it's like go big or go home. So I would also say a Serbian film, because I think a Serbian film is very much like a think piece, as much as it's in your face and very graphic for what it is. I also think it is sort of a thinker. You know what I mean? It's kind of heavy on the head. It's a very good movie. No.
You definitely are a gore hound.
Yeah, I love it.
You were not joking. You were not joking. Okay, this is a different vibe to this question. 2 movies to watch during the Halloween season to put you in the spooky season mood.
Oh, okay. So we can get a little fun there. I would say there's one from Disney called Mr. Boogedy.
Yeah.
Are you familiar?
I haven't seen the movie. I remember the cover.
So that one is super fun. I remember that as a kid. And then I would also say the original Addams Family would be another good one for spooky season.
Yeah, with Raul Julia.
Raul Julia, young Christina Ricci. I think those are very good. If we're gonna, well, Beetlejuice. I mean, Beetlejuice is good year round, but I would actually say that one gets you in the mood to kind of dress up and get a little spooky ooky.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Last one.
What we got?
What advice would you give an up and coming filmmaker who's just getting started? What would you tell them to do to?
I would say find your people. Only make the movie if you can't do anything else. You know what I mean? If there's if it will not leave you alone, make the movie. If there's anything else in your world that you're like distracted by or interested in or whatever, do that instead. Because it will be thankless. It will be tiring. As much fun as it may seem, it will be a slog. If you do it for any other reason than you can't not do it, you might be doing it for sort of the wrong reason. Don't do it because it's going to make you rich. It will not. Don't do it for glory. You will never get it. That's such a small percentage of people. Make your movie because it's the same reason a painter paints. You know what I mean? Make your movie for that, because you have to get it out of you. And that's where other people come into play. I've been very fortunate in the stuff that I've made, that my friends, my family, they understand the fact that I'm not going to let it go. And they're like, if we help him, he will shut up. And that's
Nice.
That's sort of what it comes down to. And they do. And we've made some wonderful things. When you get a chance to watch The Rough, I really think you'll get a kick out of it. So
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah.
With that, anything else you want to plug before we wrap up?
Troma now. $4.99 a month. First month's free. Look up all the shithouse shorts on there. All right, do us that favor. Look for us at shit.house.productions on Instagram for Curse of the Weredeer updates. You can add me personally at yarn_Yeti. And if you get really bored, you can go on Spotify, look up Fantasy Shed, and listen to some Totally Tunular if you want to hear me talk about cartoons with my friends and listen to more of my fucking dogs going bananas.
Very nice. All right, Ben. Well, thanks for joining me, man. I had a lot of fun talking and listening to your stories too. So
thank you for having me, Spooky Dude. This has been a party.
Absolutely, man. All right, well, we'll do it again. And I'm going to get some sleep because I'm tired as shit. But in the meantime, say your prayers, take your vitamins, and stay spooky, my dudes.